Welcome to the Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes D Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes D Scoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you are not a member, you can go to the description. You'll see, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see how to become a member of the channel. All right, this is the AU Scoop. We're going to talk about post fall camp, the first two practices. A lot has come out already. Coach Freeze has talked to the media a couple of times and plenty of good coverage. So if you're a member of On Three Rivals, go to the corner over there. Caleb Jones, Cole Pinkston, they recap things in a great way. 24/7, Nate King had great notes. You always got to follow what Jason Caldwell says, and Christian Clemente for the best in recruiting. Also, Jay Lee and Hope over there at On Three. But once you go through those pages, which you probably should, the information is there, and they did a great job covering Tuesday's practice. They had media availability. As you know, with my channel, usually I just try to backfill. There's no need in trying to go to reinvent the wheel. If there's a practice facility, if there's a practice time where people don't get media availability and I can put some notes together, I usually do. But what I enjoy the most is when the people who come here get rewarded when I do put my intel out, and it does. It's confirmed by writers who are actually on the beat. So let's go through some notes that are out currently. And you can get these notes pretty much at On Three 24/7 Rivals. Just take your pick. Probably should subscribe to both, but shout out to both of those parties. All right, so Ken Lee wore a non-contact jersey, had his ankle wrapped. Now I heard that it's not super serious, but as a matter of fact, let me go the quote I got on it. Um, Ankle was wrapped already, but I also heard that he had a bang knee to thigh. So just some lower leg, just some leg extremities, low in his lower extremities. Let me say that. So he'll be out for a little while, but he'll be ready for Baylor. But he did stretch yesterday, so he'll be fine. Ken Lee had a great camp, great fall camp. He did. Jay Crawford stole the show, but Ken Lee was always in the picture. When I talk to people about the type of camp that he had, just a really sticky guy in coverage. Um, some guy, a person who's learned more nuance of the position when it comes to being sticky, and he's a really good fighter and playing through the hands. When you're his size and you're playing against 6'2", 6'3" guys who like to play above the rim, being able to play through the hands is super important. And Ken Lee has become a master of playing through the hands, is from what I'm hearing through the fall. So looking forward to getting him back out there. Connor Lou was a limited participant. Um, did not practice during the offense defense period. These are Nathan King's notes, and you will get these already. They already been up for like a day or so at the time of this recording. So, but Dylan Wade took first team reps at center. Aaron Singleton still in a non-contact jersey. Cam Coleman no longer full participant. He no longer in a non-contact jersey, full participant in practice. Champ Anthony still on a bike a lot. Now, he's been a guy who's bounced back and forth. He's been in some 11 on 11, and I thought he was turning the corner, and from what I'm hearing, he still has to trust that lower leg. I think that's probably one of it's a mental hurdle there as well for Champ Anthony. And the more he's trusted and the more that he's able to, to kind of put pressure on it, then you'll see him get back on the field in a more consistent fashion. But I do say this: if you don't trust it, don't push it. If I were to say anything, like don't. You want to be out there on that field. You want to have your full mindset about you being able to perform. And sometimes we have to protect players from themselves, even at the high school level. Shoot, even at the middle school level. Like you got to protect guys like dogs. You got to protect them for themselves, and he's an absolute dog. So Champ Anthony, man, just saw that he's a final that he's on the watch list for a comeback player of the year. So it'd be awesome if he could bring that award home. So I would just say take your time, man, and get your literally get your legs up under you, man. So shout out to Champ Anthony. Uh, Antonio Coleman still practicing. So recently, Coach Freeze came out and said that he's suspended, but he's still practicing. So a guy that you're glad that he's still getting reps, and hopefully he's learned his lesson, and this is punitive, but not permanent. And that's a huge difference. So I love to make that distinction because, we hear suspension and we think, oh, he's on his way out the door. But the fact that he's still practicing, even while being suspended, says a lot about at least his attitude right now. Because a lot of guys don't even want to hear the S word or suspension, and they can fold it up and pack it in. But this guy hasn't. So room for him to overcome whatever issue that he's had so far. All right. Coach Freeze said that they will simulate 10 plays from Baylor's formations, offense and defense, and the media put the cameras away for that. First team groups. Offense, Jackson Arnold, Damari Alston, Brandon Fraser / Preston Howard. I think it'll be based on situation and what they want to do. Cam Coleman, Horatio Films, and Malcolm Simmons / Bryce Kane. I think that's due to Eric Singleton being a little banged up. So, but I'm glad to see Bryce Kane because I think about 2 shows ago, maybe one, maybe the last show, I said that Bryce Kane had a really good camp and nobody talked about him. And now he's starting to see the fruits of his labor. So shout out to Bryce Kane, maybe the forgotten man in the Freeze 4. A lot of people don't talk about him, but Bryce Kane had a really good camp, and I'm excited to see what he does on the field. Xavier Chaplin at left tackle, Jeremiah Wright at guard, Dylan Wade at center, right guard Too Tall, Mason Murphy right tackle. Once again, seeing Too Tall being at the guard. Now, in April, we talked about this. I got a really good word that said that Too Tall would have get some reps at guard. So shout out to my plug on that one. All right, defense, Keldrick Falk, Mars Williams, Zykevious Walker, Malik Blockton, Bobby Jameson Travis, Keyron Crawford, Chris Murray. These are like your first 8. You can see they can rotate any kind of way based on matchup, who's got the hot hand. But I think the only guys that you won't see rotate probably as much will be Keldrick Falk. Regardless of who else is out there, you're going to see Falk. First linebackers out. Robert Woodyard, Xavier Atkins. Another guy. Told you all camp. Xavier Atkins, I keep hearing this guy was flashing. He was having a great camp. Got some run with the ones. He's going to play. And I think I guarantee you he plays on third down. He would have to really mess it up at this point. He has such a great camp from what I'm hearing. So shout out to Xavier Atkins. At corner, you had Jay Crawford and Rayshawn Pleasant. Rayshawn Pleasant had some really good plays yesterday from what I'm seeing. The exciting thing about Rayshawn Pleasant is that he gives you another body at corner that you trust. I want to see Ken Lee in that nickel. I just want to see him on passing downs or maybe on the second down where you can second and long where you can either pass or run. I would love to see Ken Lee at the nickel. Ken Lee is a better tackler than he gets credit for, and I think his NFL future probably is in the slot. He can play both, but I think he's a dangerous weapon in the slot. So but you had to play him on the perimeter. But with Rayshawn Pleasant, I think you can move K. Lee to the slot. In some instances, I'm really looking forward to seeing that this year. Jay Crawford, who we all know had a great camp for sure. At nickel, you have Sylvester Smith, another guy who's been versatile, played a lot of free safety last year, or field safety last year. So Sylvester Smith at the nickel gives you another good tackle. He had some great tackles yesterday. Champ Anthony at the field safety. So even though he's not a full participant, he did go out with the ones and 11 on 11s. That's a good sign. And Caleb Harris, who's probably the stalwart on the back end at that boundary safety. Another thing I'm looking forward to is Jacoby Matthews as he continues to get in shape. Jacoby had a real long sit-out period where just to get back to SEC form, it took a little while. It's taken a little while. But this is a talented guy. I think as he continues to rounds himself into shape, as he continues to learn the playbook, Jacoby Matthews is going to be a factor by the end of the year. Former 5-star that everybody says has the talent, just has to get up to speed. Kick returners right now: Rayshawn Pleasant, Eric Singleton, Malcolm Simmons, Jeremiah Cobb, Duke Smith, Omar Mapson. Very interesting to see Omar Mapson, but we did see Damari Alston as a kick returner. We also saw Jarquez Hunter as a kick returner in the past. So I think just a sign of things to come. Usually, if you got to get a guy on the field, You know what he'll do in the backfield when he gets his opportunity. So really excited about Omar Madison. Ashton Daniels once again with the twos. I told you Deuce Knight was running with the threes for a while. Um, they still could flip flop some. It's just one of those situations. Ashton Daniels right now, as he's already started Power Four games, and I think Deuce Knight just doesn't have the experience. But I don't think it's an indictment on Deuce Knight's talent level at all. It's really just about the experience. Um, let's say okay. Another note on Bryce Kane having a really solid couple weeks of practice. As you know, we definitely talked about that. DeMarcus Riddick was very physical. That's going to be good. He had been out for so long, and guys have stepped up. So it's a real competition at linebacker. I know a lot of people are penciling who you think the starters are going to be. I don't know who's going to be your first two out. It could be any combination of Woodard, Riddick, Wheatland, Atkins, Melendez, Diaz. You just don't know who's going to go out. They're still trying to figure that out. Um, and I think the blitz packages that Durkin has, he's going to utilize as many people as possible. So I think you're going to see a lot from the linebacker group, and I think you won't see your real rotation at linebacker until about game 3 or 4 after the bullets start flying. You can see who does what, and who you can trust. All right, so Jackson Arnold throwing the ball, heard pretty much the same thing, like not taking a ton of shots downfield, but that's by design. Being smarter with the ball, taking care of the ball. I think that's been the main thing is like taking care of the ball and being able to actually make passes out of the RPO. Um, a lot of times with the RPO, you can set your mind that you're gonna pass the ball, and you really don't, and you really don't sell the mesh point because you're already like I'm passing this ball. But from what I'm hearing, Jackson has done a better job of free. RPO is meant to free somebody. It's meant to make somebody think. And if you don't carry out the fake, or if you don't, or if you're never a threat to pull it, then the RPO doesn't work. Some guys feel like the RPO system may be outdated, but I think when ran correctly, the RPO can be very dangerous. It's really up to the trigger man. It's as dangerous as the players. So in this case, Jackson Arnold, I'm hearing lately, the last few days, few practices, he's been a little more dangerous in the RPO as far as letting the team know, letting the defense know that he will run it. Also, running to pass, and that's part of the RPO that people kind of, the confusing part is if you pull it, can you roll out and still make a completion? A lot of times people pull and they think run. So basically, by maximizing each point of the RPO, whether it's the mesh, whether it's the pull, or whether it's the pass or the handoff, I think Jackson Arnold has been doing a better job lately. From what I'm hearing, he's done a better job of controlling the RPO and to make the offense, like, to keep the defense honest would be a better way to put it. All right, guys, if you have any thoughts or comments, I just want to go over this. Uh, really, we just got to wait and see. We won't really know what's going on with the offense until Waco. I think everybody would be pretty comfortable with the defense based off what they showed last year and what you're hearing about this year. The offense is still a question mark, but you can't confirm it until you see it until you see proof of concept. So I think until we get an opportunity to see Auburn and Waco, it'll be a question, but it's always good to hear favorable stuff out of camp. And after practice today, I'll probably do some calling around, and I don't think there'll be another media availability. So next couple of days, just stay tuned, subscribe, and then I'll be back filling any information I get. But I'm going to tell you that On3 and 247 will have information up. Everybody's going to be calling around. It's that time of year. So make sure you go support those two sites. Like my man Josh Pate said yesterday, man, it's enough room for everybody to eat. So I support everybody in the market. And Locked On Auburn, make sure you go check them out as well. And Auburn Addicts. All right, man, I appreciate y'all for sure.